It's the 14th of February 2018, and in celebration of Valentine's Day, we have decided that we are going to try and replicate Dr Emoto's experiment with the rice. Now, what Dr Emoto did was he got 3 beakers in a laboratory environment, and he put some uncooked rice and covered the uncooked rice with distilled water in each beaker. And the first beaker he gave love to for 30 days, so he told it that he loved it and he appreciated it. The second beaker he told it was stupid and he basically sent it hate. And the third one he completely ignored. And after 30 days, the first beaker had rice in it that had started to ferment. It was very sweet smelling, and it was also a little bit of a pinky colour. The second that he'd given the hate to had gone black and shriveled up. And the third, the rice that he'd completely ignored, had started to go mouldy and wasn't in a very good way. And Dr Emoto, he was a lovely, lovely chap, and he basically used his experiment to demonstrate to the world how important it is to show our children lots of love and lots of attention. And we've been talking to our children, who you'll meet in a minute, about how important it is to be loving and kind with their words, but also with their self. Hopefully we are going to do this with the children for the next 30 days, and they're going to see for themselves why it's so important. So I'm going to introduce you to 3 of our kids.
Hi, I'm Dan, I'm 14.
Hi, I'm Jamie, I'm 12.
Hi, I'm Kitty and I'm 7.
Okay, so to explain our setup, we've got 3 brand new Kilner jars which we've dishwashed and sterilised. We've got a measuring jug which we've done the same with, and we've got 3 packets of, I bought organic rice because I didn't want there to be any more starch than was necessary on them when we put the water on them. But we managed to find 3 from the same batch, which is great. We were very pleased with ourselves in the supermarket. Everybody else thought we were bonkers, but and then we've got 3 labels here. The jars are currently undetermined as to which one is going to be which, so we don't want to give any. What do you want to say, darling?
Maybe you could tell them what the ones are.
Okay, good idea. So this label, Kitty's done this one, and it's the love label. This one, Jim Jam's done this, and it's the, well, we haven't called it hate because we want to do all sorts of horrible things to it, really, like, just tell it that it's not very nice and it's stupid and all sorts of things. So we didn't really want to just call it hate, but so that hopefully that face signifies what it is. And then this obviously is the one that's going to be completely
that's
ignored.
my masterpiece.
This is Daniel's masterpiece. And finally, the water we've chosen is just natural spring water from Wales. So exciting. We're taking great care not to touch anything. Right. Okay. Dan, if you want to start yours off.
Yep.
Kitty's desperate, so I'll go and I'll help her. Make sure you don't put your fingers in the jar, make sure you don't touch any of the rice, and make sure it goes all in if you can. And then when you've done that, if you wouldn't mind just measuring out 300 ml of water,
fine.
I think that will work.
Okay.
Into there, okay? Hang on, Jamie, bear with us. Right, kids. Okay, let's open the jar up. You pour it in really carefully without touching anything.
So I'm going to pour some rice into my jug.
Well done. Hit mummy? Yeah, well done. There you go. Okay. Don't touch it for a minute, okay?
And now Jamie's
Jamie,
going
all right?
to do
You have
it.
your rice? Let me do that later. Okay. Well done. Okay, rice is go.
And now we're going to put
No.
some water in.
It's not fizzy, it sounds like it is, but
Okay.
it's not. Don't touch the top of the bottle.
Right.
Can you see the 300ml mark? Just here, look.
Yeah.
Try not to breathe over it. Bit more. This one here.
Just not.
Okay, that's slightly more, so
Oh.
don't worry, we'll just do the same each time.
Oh, it just looks like this, from that side it looks.
Okay, well, I'll tell you what, I'll just empty a bit out. Hang on.
Alright.
Right, that's perfect. Look, can you see
Yeah.
where it is for next time? 300ml.
If I look on that
Yeah.
side, yeah.
Okay, so do you want to pour yours in?
Yeah.
Try and cover it up a bit so that it's all gonna. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Hopefully that's going to be enough. I think that
Is that
probably is. I think so,
We can
yeah.
shake it. And
Yeah, we'll shake it once the lid's
Yeah.
on. Let's put the lid on.
Alright. So we're going to check them all, right?
Yeah, please, yes again. Here you go, Jim Jam, you can shake. Gently. Throw it across the kitchen. You see the 300? Got it? Please? Tiny bit much, don't worry.
I'm measuring is amazing.
It's okay,
That's good.
Daniel.
Right, Jim Jam, do you want to put that in yours? Don't touch the inside, will you? Okay, well done. Super job.
Alright, let's see if we can get the measurement right this time.
Well done. Still a bit murky, the water, isn't it? It's because it's got
Oh, God.
Oh, you've done it
Still-
perfectly that
oh.
time. That's perfect.
Finally.
Right, kitty chops.
So I'm going to pour my water and I have to be very careful.
Okay. That's it. Well done.
I did it!
You did indeed. Excellent. You're going to give it a little wibble. Careful. There you go. Excellent job. Well done. Okay, so now we're going to label the jars, and I think to do that, what we'll do is if we put them all in the middle, look, and maybe give them a bit of a shifty round. If one of you does that, and then maybe two of you turn around, and then
Yeah.
you guys can decide who wants. Do you want to do the
I'll
jiggling?
do the moving.
Great. And then if the other two decide where they want the labels to go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Alright,
So we're going to turn around.
Okay. Go on then, Jamie. Like a magician, that'll probably do.
Alright, should we
I'm
done?
ready now.
Okay. Alright, so which one do you want to choose, Kitty? Which one?
I think this is the best for the love one.
You're going for the love, are you? There you go then. Okay. Daniel, which one would you like?
So for this one, I think we're going to put it on this one here.
Okay. There you go, Jim Jam. You get the ignore sticker. Doesn't mean you get to have that jar. You've all got to give love and all got to ignore it. You know. Okay. You going to do your sticker then, Kitty?
I'm going to stick the love sticker on just under the waterline.
Well done. Good job.
And I'm going to do the same.
And I'm going to stick this handsome guy's face on just over there too. And let's
Looks like
hope
a
my
happy
sticking can be half as good as my measuring.
We shouldn't be
Ooh.
laughing around this one now, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we're going to take our jars into another room where the temperature is not too warm and where there's no risk of the jars being knocked. So I think Getty's going to explain to you when we get in there what we're going to do. Okay? Come on then.
1, 2, 3, march!
Okay.
Now we're going to put our jars up there.
Okay, Kitty, this is quite a positive sign, so why don't you put yours in the middle, look? That's a good job.
I'll put mine there then.
Okay.
On the right.
And then as long as we've got a minimum of 30 centimetres, which is what the measurement Dr Emoto used, that's only a foot, but it looks like it's going to be more like 2 feet. So if I put that one in the middle, yeah, I reckon we can get 2 feet. Well, actually, we can get 70 centimetres there and 70 centimetres there, so that's kind of perfect.
Mummy,
Okay, yes, darling.
tomorrow is it school?
No,
Next day?
no,
Next day?
still holidays.
Next day?
Okay. Do you want to say goodbye for now then, and then we'll come back tomorrow when we give them some love? And do you want to do some
Bye
love?
bye. See you tomorrow.
Kitty, do you want to do some love and hate before we go?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Me first.
Okay.
Hate you! Love you.
Can you go for it, boys?
Oh yeah. You're bad, get a life! You're the best.
You're the worst thing in the world. I like you.
Oh. Hi, we're back. It's the results day for our experiment that we actually started 100 days ago. We were intending to do it for 30 days, as we said, but there wasn't that much difference in the jars, to be honest, after 30 days. So we decided to leave it longer, and we thought 100 days would be a nice round number. So we're going to take the jars into the kitchen, just in case of spillages, and see what the rice is looking like. So before we move the jars into the kitchen, what we've noticed is that they look very different in bright light. So what I've just done is dim the lights, and I'm just going to show you before we move the rice what we're seeing in this light. So this is the hate jar, and what we're observing here that I'm not convinced you're going to see so clearly in the bright light is rice that isn't puffed up, but it's kind of quite evidently gone cloudy at the top of the jar, and there's quite a lot of well, grey mould really. So that's definitely mould. The top of the jar has gone quite murky. I'm not sure what the rice looks like inside, except that it kind of looks all like it's joined together and a bit congealed. It doesn't look very friendly. I'm not sure what that's going to smell like. But basically, that's the hate jar. Not much discoloration around the actual rice, but it doesn't look very puffy. So if we move on to the love jar, and actually I'll move the hate on close to it so that you can see in comparison. The love rice looks to be nice and fluffy, quite puffed up compared to the hate rice, and there isn't the mould along the top. In fact, it looks very clear in there. Now, coming back to the one that we ignored, which is the one I was a bit concerned about you not being able to see in the other room, because actually when you put the bright light on it, it really doesn't look the same. You can see the discoloration there. It's almost like the rice has gone grey. And if I move it next to the other jars and I kind of turn it side on, hopefully you can still see that there. If I turn the love one, I turn the hate one. That one that's been ignored is decidedly grey compared to the others. And just so that you know that that's nothing to do with the light, I'm going to move that there a minute and see if you can get the same effect. And yes, you do. And in actual fact, if I turn it round, it looks to be even worse at the back. It's definitely different. Okay, so on the top of the one that's been ignored, there's not much. It kind of hasn't gone mouldy like in the same way that the rice that's been hated has. It's definitely discoloured, and it's also not puffy like the love rice. So we'll go into the kitchen now and see what happens when they take the lids off the jar. Okay. Right. Okay. Turn around so we can see the labels.
Oh yeah.
Right. Can you go first?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, hang on. Be careful because it might.
Yeah.
Just put your. Oh, no pressure. Okay. Who's going to smell it?
I don't think I can.
Oh yeah, it'll count.
Does it smell bad?
Try smell it.
Oh God! It smells like cheese. You'll be...
Oh yeah, I can smell it. Yeah.
Oh God!
Oh.
Oh my God! That smells disgusting. Oh. Okay.
Oh no.
I don't even want to open the next one.
It smells like blood.
You can smell it from there.
It smells like blood.
Does that smell bad?
No,
Don't
I
cry,
don't
Kitty.
want to smell it.
That smells like sick.
It smells like those Bean Boozled. The sick, the like.
That doesn't smell as bad as that one.
It does.
It doesn't smell nice, but it doesn't smell as bad as that. That smelled like cheese.
This one smells worse. It smells like sick.
Don't touch it because it's mouldy. It's not nice, is it?
No.
I'm just going to take this up to the camera because that is gross. Okay, so as I thought, can you see that? You see the top of it? It's all kind of. I don't want it to fall on the floor. And to say that these stink is an understatement, really. I'm going to put the lid back on. I don't think that one smells as bad. It smells very different. It smells very different. I think that the first one.
So the first one smelled kind of like a mouldy cheese. This one kind of smells like a sick combination with kind of
Like sticky beans.
smelliness, like a fart or something like that.
Okay,
Still
so
doesn't smell as bad as Jamie after he hasn't had a shower for 2 years.
oh, Jamie, that's not nice, is it? Hang on. What do we think this one's going to smell like? Do you think
I think
it's going
this
to
is
smell
gonna
nicer?
like smell like rose.
You think it's going to smell like a rose? Okay, I don't even know if I want to smell it now.
Oh, it smells like perfume. This is so nice. This is so
Oh my
nice.
goodness, it smells like
It smells like perfume and stuff.
it smells like rice. Wow, does it smell like rice pudding? It smells really sweet. Smell that though.
It smells so good.
It doesn't smell horrible.
I want to eat it.
Yeah.
I didn't actually think this would work.
Let's
This
go and
work.
show the camera.
I didn't know this would work. How does this actually work?
Okay, so that's the love rice. There's absolutely no film over the top. It's a bit shiny. It's kind of, it just looks quite nice. And I can honestly say to you that it really does smell rather nice.
And
I'm not sure I'd want to eat it, but it kind of smells like it does smell like it's fermented.
I would want to eat.
So what we did forget to do was just show the camera this. I don't even want to take the lid off this again. But, sorry guys. I'm just going to show you that's the ignored rice. It doesn't really look like, well, I don't know actually, you can tell that it's a bit grey. Oh my god, it's a bit grey there, and it really does.
Can I spin it again? I didn't know, I forgot it was smelled like that.
Guys, so hey, what do we think? I'm just going to see if you can see. Oh god, it does smell so disgusting. So you can see what we mean about the coloration in the light. It's not quite so clear. What do we think? What about that? Are we surprised?
Yeah.
10 to 1. 0, 0, 10. Easy.
Are you surprised that it's worked to that extent?
Yeah, to an extent, yeah.
Yeah, it's just interesting that the ignored one is more like horrible than the hate one. So if you think about it, then people that get ignored are more likely to feel worse than if they just get hate.
Yeah, that's really, really sad, isn't it?
Yeah.
What a sad thought. But how incredible that you can make rice behave differently just by saying different things. And to be fair, we didn't actually, we didn't all talk to it every day.
Yeah, we didn't actually say that much.
You didn't. I did. I went in and spoke to it pretty much every day. It could have had more attention than it did. So I do wonder how much effect just those stickers and the intention had on the rice. But I'm really, really pleased with the results. I'm not quite sure how we're going to dispose of that disgusting, smelly rice. I really encourage you to try it at home, especially with your children, because the results are incredible. Maybe do the 100 days like we did rather than the 30 days. I'm really chuffed it's worked so well, and yeah, give it a go. Give it a go.
Adios.
So Kitty and I have a closing message for you, and that is, if you can't say something nice,
Think of the rice.
yay.
I hope you enjoyed our video. See you soon. Bye.
Bye.